Hello, Potomac State College art history students. Welcome to spring 2025. At the beginning of every semester, I make one of these little introductory videos just to kind of walk you guys briefly through what to expect in the course, basically how to get an A, kind of where to navigate everything. So even if you've taken courses before on Blackboard and you're thinking, well, I kind of know where everything is, just follow with me for just a couple minutes so that way you get familiarity with this class specifically. So move in on. All right, so this is the learning objective, a list of the learning objectives for this course. So by the end of the semester, you're going to have essentially this new vocabulary. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm studying something in the sciences or engineering or something like that, so none of this is really going to be applicable to me. I just have to tick that box for the elective. Even if you're thinking that, a lot of the vocabulary that we're going to use and a lot of the things that we're going to talk about is how you see and better describing in words what you see and how it is communicating effectively, or if it is or is not communicating effectively. And though that's going to transition through no matter what you're studying while you're here at Potomac State and wherever you go after you leave here. So this is a great, it's a fun class. All right. So on that note, just I always kind of make this special note. So due to the nature of art, which is really the nature of human history, this course is going to touch upon some things that might be sensitive to some viewers. You're going to see a lot of nudity. You're going to see we're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about economics. We're going to talk about sexual references, genocides, human sacrifices, kind of the whole gambit of human experiences, good, bad, and ugly, we're going to cover. So with that, some things might be slightly uncomfortable, but we're all in college and we're all going to approach these things with like that academic respect. Okay, so this course is asynchronous, meaning that you consume educational content at different times. So basically, every Tuesday of each week, new work will become available, and every Monday, excuse me, at 11:59 p.m., right there at that switchover time, that's when everything's going to be due in this class. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, Monday is kind of a weird due date. It works out better in my experience to have Monday. If you do Sunday because it's the weekend and everybody works. I worked when I was a student, so I completely understand. And it slips people. So Monday gives you that last day of the week. If you, for whatever reason, didn't do it last week, you can get it done on Monday and then start off fresh and hit Tuesday. You can get the next week's work done. So that's just so every Tuesday, new stuff available. Every Monday, something is going to be due. So attendance, you must complete all tests, essays, discussions. It's all part of your attendance. Nothing in this course is optional. I'm just going to kind of like repeat that. Discussions are not optional. They add up to the same as 2 tests. I'm not sure if other classes they're optional, but they're definitely a huge portion. They're a big chunk of this class. So with that being said, if you think something should be showing up, or I'm sorry, if you know something is going on in your life, like you're going to be away or you're going to have a baby or whatever the case may be, we're all human beings and life happens to us, contact me as soon as you can, as soon as you know, and we can either get you the work ahead of time so that way you can check it off and feel good about that, or we can get you caught up depending on the situation. It is always best to, this is across all professors, across any school that you go to, whether you stay here at WVU or you continue your education on, is always going to be good to be preemptive and contact ahead of time rather than 2 weeks till finals and you suddenly want to take test 2 from way, way back in February. It's not a very good look. So try to stay on top of things. All right, grading. So this class is, like I said, all those things, everything that you do in this class is going to count for points. So the class is out of approximately 1,000 points. Discussions differ and fluctuate just a little bit. So the class, some semesters might be out of like 970 or something, and some semesters there might be just a little bit more. It's just kind of like fluctuating those weights, but approximately 1,000 points is what the course is out of. It's 7 tests, 1 essay, and then 15 discussions or more, plus or minus. Okay, how are you going to get this content? There's no book. It's wonderful that there's no book for you to have to buy. So what you're going to have to do to get course content is watch silly videos like this. They're recorded lectures. They're made by me. They're not amazing. You can probably see a learning curve as I get a little bit better at it throughout the semester. But they're free. They're easily accessible. You can technically watch them on your phone and have the test up at the same time. Little pro tip there. So this is where you're going to, that's how you're going to access all the information for this course. And then it's going to be found in the corresponding unit. So in unit 1 are going to be all the videos that go with that unit. If there's something that you think you should be seeing, but you're not, do not hesitate to email me. I have 2 emails. Do not hesitate to ever email me and say, hey, I think I should see a discussion, but for some reason it's not visible to me, or when it is, when I click on it, it just says item not found. Let me know about that kind of stuff. All right, so each video is going to have a corresponding discussion, maybe more. The discussions are going to be found in this discussion tab. Let's get a little bit brighter color there. In this discussions tab or content area right there. So all the discussions are going to be found there. So lectures will be in one place and then discussions will be in another. You need to consult that course calendar. Remember, everything is going to be due on a Monday at 11:59 p.m., right before the start of Tuesday. Okay, so that brings us to our first discussion. So the very first discussion of the semester is a getting to know you assignment. It's going to be due January 20th, which is going to be Monday. Happens to be Martin Luther King Day. So what we want to know for this discussion is, who are you? What do you study or plan to study? When and where would you go if you had a time machine? Why would you go to said place? And then how do you get your coffee, or how do you get your caffeine? This is just kind of a fun question. So before we proceed, I want to talk about these 2 questions right here real quick. When and where in time would you go if you had a time machine? There is a history element to this course. We're going to be talking about places and people all over the world. So with that in mind, don't be that guy, don't be that kid that's too cool for school. Like, I'd just go surfing, so it doesn't matter when in time I'd go, as long as the beach is there, right? Give it some true thought. Give it some thought. Would you go? Why would you go back to that era, right? Wherever it may be. What would you want to see or know or learn about, right? There might be something that we might touch on in this class. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go first. So who are you? My name is Lacey. Lacey Shambaugh. I am the professor here at Potomac State. I went for my BFA at WVU, just up the road there, and then I got my MFA at Clemson University. I actually studied ceramics and art history, so I'm more comfortable actually getting dirty in the studio. So when and where in time would you go if you had a time machine? This one's tough because I have a lot of, I can nerd out on history a little bit. I think that the Roman Empire would be an interesting place to see, especially since it was a time in history when it was like the beginning of globalization. So it was the first time that a lot of cultures were really coming in contact with each other and sharing a lot of information. And that's why I would go there. And just for fun, I get my coffee. I don't know why that's missing. How do I get my coffee? Anyway, I drink coffee every day with cream. If you are not a caffeine person, you definitely don't want to start, because then you can never quite get away from it. So All right, so that's the first discussion. That's everything I want to know about you guys. If you're thinking to yourself, well, that's the only thing that's due the first week. The first week's a little bit light. You have access to next week's videos, and I certainly hope that you go ahead and try to start catching up on those. But the very first week, there's always that someone's dropping, someone's adding, that kind of stuff. So keep it a little bit on the light side just for that first week for that reason. So next week, there are going to be 2 discussions due. The week after that is a discussion and a test, and then an essay and a discussion. So a lot is coming up in the future. Do not think that, oh, this is like, I just talk about myself for 5 minutes. That's easy. It's just for that first week. Okay, so thank you for your attention. Please don't hesitate to email me. And I think it's going to be a great semester, guys. Talk to you later.